Good morning and welcome to NYSE TV Live. I'm Caroline Woods. It's Wednesday, December 6th. We are coming to you from the New York Stock Exchange, the epicenter of global financial markets. But this morning we are celebrating something that can't be traded on the stock market. Time has unveiled its 2023 Person of the Year, and the recipient is, drumroll please, Taylor Swift. The Grammy Award-winning artist's Eras Tour not only swept through the United States, but the world. The tour is not only on pace to become the highest-grossing global tour of all time, but the Eras Tour concert film has generated over $250 million in worldwide movie ticket sales. Now, to honor the occasion, we have Time branding all over this iconic building, from the cubes behind me above the trading floor. Time CEO Jessica Sibley will ring the opening bell and open up the U.S. equity markets. It's going to be an action-packed show. We'll have more reactions surrounding the decision. We'll break down some of the other names who were on the short list, and we'll also speak with Time CEO Jessica Sibley about how the magazine reached its decision. But first, here are some facts you should know about this prestigious award. The Time Person of the Year is the annual designation for the person, group, or concept that most shaped the headlines for good or bad. That means we've seen some controversial choices like Adolf Hitler in 1938 and Joseph Stalin in 1939 and 1942. The first ever Time Person of the Year was revealed in the January 2nd, 1928 issue. Charles Lindbergh, who made the first aviator to complete a solo transatlantic flight by flying the Spirit of St. Louis aircraft from New York to Paris in 1927, was the inaugural recipient. Heads of state have been a popular choice for Time, with 14 U.S. presidents receiving the recognition. Franklin Delano Roosevelt is the only three-time recipient in the publication's history. When Time debuted its Person of the Year tradition, it wasn't intended to be a noteworthy event, but it has since become one, and we are very excited that Taylor Swift is now the question mark, filling the question mark that was behind us. But before we get to any more of this, let's go to Siebert Hall. We'll hear from Lynn Martin and Jessica Sibley. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to go back in just a bit, but I wanted to just talk to you a little bit more about some of the history behind this. The first Woman of the Year, because there's been a lot of men on this list, obviously Taylor Swift changing that up, but the first Woman of the Year came in 1936 when American socialite Wallis Simpson made headlines with her controversial relationship with King Edward VIII. It resulted in King Edward VIII's abdication of the throne and then marrying Simpson in 1937. Then in 1950, Time recognized the American fighting man when soldiers were facing new dangers during the Korean War. This marked the first selection of a symbolic group. The American soldier won the recipient again in 2003 when the U.S. invaded Iraq and captured Saddam Hussein. Then in 1982, the personal computer, the PC, became the first inanimate object to be recognized and became the first machine of the year in the process. According to Time, the number of computers soared from 724,000 units in 1980 to 2.8 million in 1982. One other noteworthy person of the year came in 2006 when the winner was you. Yes, you won. Time's mission that year was to recognize the millions of people posting user-generated content and making it one of the foundations of the world media. Again, to commemorate this, we're going to be talking with Jessica Sibley, the CEO of Time, in just a little bit. But before we get to all of that, I do want to switch gears a little bit because there's a lot of history surrounding, of course, Time Person of the Year, but there's a lot of history also surrounding this iconic institution that we're currently sitting in. The New York Stock Exchange, or the NYSE, traces its roots back to 1792, when a group of traders gathered beneath the buttonwood tree on Wall Street. Well, you know what? Let's go back to Siebert. I think we have that all situated. Let's hear from Lynn and Jessica, and I'll be right back.
And happy feet everywhere she goes. She's the best thing happening in America. Now, I forwarded that article to colleagues, to friends, after my colleague Josh King had forwarded it to me. And you know what? We all agree. And given everything going on in this world, we need a moment of happiness right now. So well done, Jess. You all nailed it this year. This is gonna be, I would argue, the most successful issue you all have ever put out. So congratulations, and Jess, why don't you come on up?
I want to thank you all here at Time, my colleagues, for making this year so special and for being here today to honor Taylor Swift. Who's a Swiftie? Everyone in the world. Lynn, thank you. Josh, thank you for allowing us to do this today to really recognize and celebrate our Person of the Year. And you've been such great partners, and thank you for wearing Time Red. And you really summed it up really well with Peggy Noonan's article in the Wall Street Journal. And Person of the Year. So we're celebrating our centennial. We were here on the day of our centennial, ringing the bell. It feels like a lifetime ago. And we just have to take a moment to reflect on how we came up with Person of the Year. I think it was over 95 years ago. And the news cycle around this time in December is pretty slow. People are interested in holiday, gifting, other things, and not necessarily the news. So a bunch of smart editors at Time got together and came up with this incredible idea to make news, to make noise. And that was something that had never been done before. And what it was is to really recognize and identify who had the biggest impact on the year, sometimes for good and sometimes for worse. And it started as Man of the Year. Yeah. Until the year 2000, when we changed it to Person of the Year. And it is my great honor as the CEO of Time to celebrate this incredible woman, Taylor Swift, our Person of the Year. So it's a really fun project. We talk and work on it all year. It's like the cocktail conversation. We had 9 suggestions, and it became increasingly obvious that it was Taylor and the impact, the Taylor effect that she's had. And since we are here at the New York Stock Exchange, I love the fact that she's an incredible artist and a performer, a songwriter. She has arguably the strongest work ethic of anyone in the industry, widely defined. But the business story is the one that inspires me the most. And I look at her as a CEO, not just as a brand, and not just as somebody who's bringing hope and joy and community and collaboration. But when I started to unpack kind of what she's done, I do want to share some statistics, especially here in this building, because they are awing. Wow, $4 billion in touring revenue just this year. That's like a Super Bowl every day for over 50 days in 20 locations. $5 billion in GDP growth just in the US. You mentioned the friendship bracelets. Craft sales went up 500%. And who watches football now? Who likes Kansas City? Travis Kelce, her boyfriend, 400% increase in his jersey sales. That's really amazing. But she also, well, I should say a couple of other stats. 300 million just in LA the 1 week that she toured, and 3,000 jobs created. That's insane. And she gives back. She gave 55 million in bonuses in 5 months to those that worked on her tour. It's just mind-boggling. I could go on and on. Stats on how many issues we've sold so far. Thousands. I think this is going to be the biggest issue ever. We partnered with Flowcode, so Tim Armstrong. So there's a QR code. We've never done this before. It'll appear outside of the New York Stock Exchange. It's in our magazine, and you can just hit your phone, get your QR code, and the first time ever, we did 3 covers for Person of the Year with 2 of the most famous photographers in the world. I could go on and on, but we do have to ring the bell. So I'm going to say a few more things. We do have Sam Altman as our CEO of the year. I think that's the first time we've actually named a CEO of the year, and he sat down to talk to us. We have Lionel Messi as the Athlete of the Year, and we have Alex Newell as the Time Breakout Person of the Year. I have to say, for us to be able to talk to Messi and Sam Altman and Taylor Swift for this platform is just unheard of. Taylor Swift has not given an interview in over 4 years, and she's not done a photo shoot. Why? Time is a really special place. Sam Jacobs, our editor-in-chief, Sam Lansky, she trusts us. She trusted her story with us. And you have to read the article. We are measuring page views. I think half the team had to stay back because we were afraid we would break our own site or break the internet. I did want to buy the stock Cats, but that would be insider trading, although maybe Purina, maybe I could do that today. Okay, we've never had a cat on our cover. So, okay, you could see I'm really excited and I could go on and on. But I'm gonna stop because I don't want to give away everything other than she did run on a treadmill for 3 months, for 3 hours, singing every song, 44 songs. So she ran really fast on the fast songs and really slow on the slow songs. And there's a lot more stuff in the article, so please read it. I do want to thank our partners, the McAllen, who are here today with us. It is such an honor to have you and to celebrate and recognize and say cheers together. And also our premier partner, American Family Insurance. We're so excited for Dreamer of the Year. It's such an incredible recognition, somebody who works so hard and dreams so big. This year we have Sid Kitson, who was a professional football player, and he left the field, and he's an incredible innovator, real estate developer, and he's got plans that he's been working on for 8 years for the first solar-powered community. So with that, thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. For those of you who worked on this under NDA, thank you for keeping this a secret, best kept secret ever, and we're so excited to ring the bell this morning.
Cool. All right. So I think it's fitting that we are in Siebert Hall at the New York Stock Exchange. Siebert Hall was named after the first female member of NYSE. So it's fitting that as a second female president, female CEO celebrating another female CEO, we are having this ceremony and ringing this morning's bell. Every day we strike a medallion for our bell ringer. Jess, it's my honor to present you with it to remind you of today, which is going to be the day you all break the internet. Congratulations. And one of the traditions we have at the New York Stock Exchange is no one goes away empty-handed, so you all will receive a slightly smaller medallion. Well done, keeping it under wraps, everyone. Although there was, like I said, a ton of speculation as to who it was going to be today. So with that, we're going to head on down to open the market. I'm going to turn it back to our web hosts, who I will meet back on the floor.
All right, we just heard from NYSE President Lynn Martin alongside Time CEO Jessica Sibley, and I'm joined now by NYSE Vice Chair John Tuttle. John, thanks for being here. First, want to get your reaction to the winner here. We had a diverse list of contenders: President Xi, Vladimir Putin, you know.
That's a diverse list.
Yeah, Barbie and Taylor Swift, the winner. What are your thoughts?
What a morning. I mean, it's an exciting morning here at the New York Stock Exchange. Where do you go to announce something like the Person of the Year, and in this case, Taylor Swift, who has become a cultural phenomena, not only across this country, but truly a global phenomena as well. We do it here from the New York Stock Exchange. So it's exciting. It was a very diverse and eclectic short list, I would say, but I think there are a few surprises that Taylor was the one to pull it off.
Yeah, she certainly has had quite a bit of influence. But speaking of an influential person, you know, being recognized at an influential place, just want to talk to you about the meaning of celebrating really this, you know, prestigious award at the NYSE. It's been around for, I think Jessica said, 95 years, so almost a century. Yeah. What are your thoughts about it actually happening here?
Well, I mean, what better place to highlight something like this? And to your point, what better place to announce or recognize greatness? Here at the New York Stock Exchange, you know, I'm a little biased, you may know, but I say there are 4 buildings that define America: the White House, the Capitol, the Supreme Court, and the New York Stock Exchange. So it's a special place, and I can think of all, you know, the many amazing announcements that have come through here, whether it be when we had, you know, Medal of Honor recipients come through, they receive the award from the president, they come here the next day. When we talk about the Heisman finalists, before they get the award, they come here. This is the spot where it all happens. Today, it is the Time Person of the Year.
And last month, we had Glamour recognize its 2023 Women of the Year honorees here at the New York Stock Exchange. What message do you think it's really sending, announcing it from here, you know, and coming here? Because, you know, it's obviously so associated with the stock market. And Taylor Swift isn't traded on the stock market. If she was, I bet her stock would be pretty high,
That's
right?
true,
But what sort of message do you think that's really sending?
Well, this is the center of capital, and it's a center of culture as well. And so this is where people come together to share ideas, to build relationships, to deliver outcomes as well. And if you want to recognize something, I can't think of a better way to do it than by ringing the bell. Now, that on a typical day is the most highly viewed news event in the world. So what better platform, what better stage to honor greatness?
What are some big events that we have coming up here that you can kind of shed some light on? Because
well,
we've already talked about a few of the past events.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had the tree lighting last week, which was incredible. 100 years. Longer than Rockefeller and better as well. But we have an exciting pipeline of activity taking place towards the end of the year. We have a lot of listed companies set to come in to celebrate major corporate milestones. Some of them are still confidential, whether it be rebrandings, M&A, or just exciting new product launches as well. And as we go into 2024, we're excited to see world leaders come through here, leaders from business, leaders from academia. It's a full docket.
All right, well, John, thanks so much for chatting with us. We have just a few minutes before the opening bell, so we've got to run, but thank you again.
My pleasure. What a morning. Time Person of the Year.
Exactly. All right. The Time Person of the Year, as John said, dominating headlines today, and rightfully so, but Time recognizes other individuals for their achievements each year as well, one of which is generating plenty of buzz. Lionel Messi has been named the 2023 Time Athlete of the Year. Within the past 12 months, the soccer superstar led Argentina to its first World Cup title since 1986, and then electrified U.S. soccer fans when he made his debut with MLS club Inter Miami in late August. All right, but we do have the opening bell happening soon, so let's take a quick look at the markets, and we're going to toss to a quick commercial break. I'll be right back, and I'll see you on the floor.
ICE is co-hosting the annual Climate and Capital Conference here at the New York Stock Exchange, where panels will be discussing emerging climate-related challenges and opportunities. And the themes are adaptation, innovation, and regulation.
It was fantastic to be here at New York Stock Exchange and be discussing sustainability. Who would have thought this would be possible 10 years ago?
There is a voluntary carbon market that is trying to form. So you're having all this demand pile up for people who want to do something good for the planet.
Adaptation, that's going to be an important element to our success in living in a world where we've impacted the natural environment so much.
We've really begun to arrive in terms of helping people make sense of the data. The problem is not the existence of data. We have more than enough data. We don't know what to do with the data.
Lots of people know something about climate change, but it's scattered, it's unorganized. Instead of having a little sustainability office as part of the company, it needs to pretty quickly become a systemic awareness.
95% of the world's emissions are not priced at an appropriate level to incentivize decarbonization.
We need to do more than just think about removing, but also using carbon credits as part of the net zero transition.
How do we get people and companies to compensate for the emissions that they're releasing into the atmosphere? Right now, it's free.
We have the tools available to address the market failures. They're just not being used by enough people.
Innovation is a key component of how we're going to solve this problem.
There is a desperate need for capital reallocation, particularly to Africa, that currently only attracts 2.5% of all green energy investments.
I care about institutions getting serious about doing this and finding the mechanisms and frameworks through which make it a part of everyday business, everyday life.
You have regulation around data and analytics, which are going to be important tools for all market participants to use in reaching their own goals.
What the planet really cares about is that there's fewer tons of CO2 in the atmosphere.
We certainly can work and aspire to a common future of a 1.5 degree.
We're not going to solve climate change. We're not going to go back to the way it was, but we can live well if we become resilient, if we pay attention, if we make relationships with each other. And so moving away from we're just going to solve it and it's going to be over to let's figure out how to live in this way, I think can be great.
Welcome back to NYSE TV Live. I'm here with NYSE's head of corporate affairs, Josh King. Josh, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be with you. How's the show so far today?
Yes, it's been an exciting day. Jessica Sibley, CEO of Time, said, "Who's a Swiftie?" Everyone's a Swiftie. Are you a Swiftie?
We're all Swifties today. You know, I'm going to talk to Jess a little bit later on the Inside the Ice House podcast, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say in advance. I'm going to tell the story of May 12th when my wife and I were in bed, sort of gnashing over the Ticketmaster and StubHub apps and saying, do we give our daughter the day of her life by mortgaging a bit of our livelihood to get 2 tickets for the show the next night in Philadelphia? We woke up the next morning, pulled the trigger, loaded her in the car, drove my daughter and her BFF Luell down to Philadelphia, dropped them off at Lincoln Financial Field, and it indeed was life-changing. When she came back that night with all the photos and all the videos and all the memories and experiences and love that she experienced in the stadium, you know, it has lasted months and will continue to last. And, you know, it even has lasted for me. I thought nothing would happen to me as a result of being the chauffeur that night, but I parked my car in the parking lot and just sat outside with 20,000 other non-ticket owning Swifties dancing on the asphalt. And to think of why they picked the person of the year, about the way you affect the world the most, that affected a lot of people, moved economies, generated an enormous amount of economic value. And what Jess said upstairs about really Taylor as the CEO really meant a lot.
So Time's 2023 Person of the Year is Taylor Swift. I think the 2023 Father of the Year is our own Josh King. Because
so many fathers of the year and mothers of the year and parents and caregivers who've done this, because if you can get into one of these stadiums or even being at one of these parking lots and think about the lyrics and then dive a little bit into Taylor's story about the adversity that she's overcome and how she sort of turns the other cheek and lifts up her chin and and walks into a room with great pride and strength. I mean, she's a wonderful role model for so many people, not just girls.
We only have about 30 seconds and then we have to go to the opening bell, but talk to us about the significance of Time announcing this major, prestigious, really award to Taylor Swift at the NYSE.
Well, the New York Stock Exchange has been here for 231 years. Time magazine celebrated its 100th anniversary here on the floor earlier this year. We've become very good friends with Jess Sibley, and to have these two iconic institutions today talking about the person of the year, you couldn't find a match better made in heaven.
Yes, I would totally agree. So we're going to be talking with Jess Sibley in just a few minutes, but first we're going to go to the opening bell because we only have about 10 seconds or so until that. So Jessica Sibley, CEO of Time, is up on the podium with Lynn Martin. Let's take a look. All right, you just heard the bell. The equity markets are open and we are here celebrating Taylor Swift as Time's 2023 Person of the Year. And I'm joined by Hannah Sisk. She's a senior analyst of exchange-traded products here at the NYSE. Hannah, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And I hear you're quite the Swiftie.
Yes, a huge Swiftie, have been for as long as I can remember.
And unlike Josh King, who had to sit outside in the parking lot waiting for his daughter to actually experience the concert, you were able to snag tickets. Tell us about what that process was like and what the concert was like.
Yeah, so that process was definitely crazy, but understandable. Everyone is such a big fan of Taylor Swift. Of course, there was going to be a huge population that wanted to go. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to make it there myself, and it was worth all the effort I went in to get those tickets. It was amazing. Even in a big stadium, it doesn't feel like that. It was personal, and listening to songs that I've been listening to since I was 14 up until songs that came up just last year. It was an incredible experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
All right, what's your favorite song?
It depends on the day. Right now, probably Clean or Midnight Rain's always a favorite too.
Yeah, she seems to kind of have that effect on people in terms of, there's so many songs that can be the soundtrack of people's lives. So when we first came into the NYSE this morning, or at least when I first came in, there was a question mark on all of the signage here for Time Magazine because we didn't know. So how excited are you that she's actually Time's Person of the Year, most influential person of 2023?
I'm so excited. I've known it for so long. She's such an amazing songwriter, such an amazing performer, and overall just a great person. So I couldn't be more excited to see someone, as amazing as her be highlighted in an honor like this.
And she's certainly had an impact on local economies with ticket sales. She's had an impact on movie theater sales. Not sure if you went and saw the movie. There's Jessica Sibley was talking about craft sales with the bracelets. NFL viewership has ticked higher. Tell us, are you also sporting the friendship bracelets and watching Kansas City now?
Yes, absolutely. I used to be a Patriots fan, might have to move over to the Chiefs now, but, the friendship bracelets, the glitter, her whole personality kind of takes over, all of her fans, they just want to support her, and I think it's amazing how much influence she has, but is such a good person, is doing it for all the right reasons.
Okay, so I just want to let everybody know what's going on here now. Hannah, stand by. We're seeing the Time team actually sign the wall right now. Soon, CEO Jessica Sibley will be making her way back down here on the floor, and we're going to chat with her. But they're signing their names next to a number of prestigious people who have been here before. Jessica actually included. We chatted with her back in March. We have a first trade bell going on because I think it's important to note that Of course, the equity markets are underway, but as we wait for the Time team to make their way back on the stage, or on the floor, I should say, the stage today, I'm thinking of Taylor Swift. Hannah, I just want to thank you for joining us, and I want to ask just quickly, will you go to another show, potentially one of the international shows?
I'm crossing my fingers, so I hope so, but we'll see.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to bring in Tara Jedzik. I always get Tara's name wrong. I apologize. Tara, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. A tough act to follow, talking about Taylor Swift. The markets don't really compete.
I know, but you know what? We did hear the bell. We do, obviously there's a lot more than just Time Person of the Year going on right now. I was just taking a look. We're seeing some green arrows today after a few days of selling, so that's good. But just, I think it's important to note that we are the financial capital of the world here. So just in terms of market performance, we've had a really impressive year. We're starting to wrap it up. Obviously, final trading days of the year, final month of the year. Just what are your expectations as we head into year end?
Sure. So going into November, we had 3 months of consecutive declines. November was fabulous. S&P ended up the month up 9%, which is great. Really, I think investors were sensing the end of the tightening cycle, also buying into the soft landing narrative. And what was really nice about it, and yields coming down. So what was nice about it is we saw, more participation, breadth across industries. It wasn't just big tech that was feeling the bump. It was spread across sectors, so that was nice.
Yeah, certainly. It's a broadening out, and that seems like that's the expectation from a lot of strategists that I talked to heading into 2024, the less cautious ones. I do think that, it's important to note there were a diverse list of nominees for the Time Person of the Year, one being Fed Chair Jerome Powell. A lot of the market optimism this year has been based on the fact that the Fed is done hiking rates and may even start cutting next year. So just want to get a sense of your expectation of what's next for the Federal Reserve.
So I think the market's already aggressively priced in anticipated cuts next year. So next week, next week is the final Fed meeting of the year, and anticipated that rates will stay the same for this meeting. However, possibility of rates coming down in potentially the first quarter, but the markets are kind of looking at a 100 basis point cut through the next year.
Okay. And Tara, I should have mentioned that you're head of listings for U.S. sectors here at the NYSE. So just curious how you're engaging with some of the companies listed here, and maybe how you're potentially bringing in some new business, because we've started to see this thawing of the IPO market as well. So fill us in on what we can expect as we look ahead to 2024.
So the New York Stock Exchange has 2,300 of the greatest companies on earth, coming from 47 countries around the globe, across industry sectors, across sizes. And we engage with our listed companies to deliver the full value. So the benefits of premium trading, quality trading, mitigating volatility, narrowing quote spreads, the NYSE community of companies across sectors, across their customers, as well as tools and resources to help them optimize their businesses, and visibility opportunities like this Time event. So no greater stage to tell your story and engage with the financial community and consumers than with the New York Stock Exchange media outlets such as yourself.
Well, Tara, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Head of Listings of U.S. Sectors, Tara Jedzik. And we're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with CEO of Time, Jessica Sibley, right after this.
When you think of investment risk, do you consider climate risk? Changing weather patterns are impacting the way we live and the value of businesses, large and small. This can mean disruption to supply chains, changing demand for products, and shifting regulation. What does this mean for your business, your clients, and your investments? ICE offers data and markets that can provide critical insight. Manage your climate risk with ICE.
Welcome back to NYSE TV Live. I'm here with Time CEO Jessica Sibley. Jessica, so good to have you back here.
Thank you. It's great to be here today.
We chatted back in March when you were here for the Time 100, so now you're back for Time Person of the Year. So we're going to talk about the honor for Taylor Swift, but 2 times in 1 year ringing the bell. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here on this day with Taylor Swift as our Person of the Year in 2023.
So I want to ask you just in terms about how the decision process all works out, because it was a very diverse mix of candidates. We've talked about it. We have China's President Xi on the list, Russia's Vladimir Putin, there's King Charles III, there's Barbie, the Trump prosecutors, the WGA and SAG strikers, and then of course Taylor Swift. How do you even go about coming up with the nominees? Do you do it throughout the year? And then ultimately, how do you pick the winner?
Yeah, well, it's one of our most incredible platforms and one of our most incredible projects that everyone gets involved with. I would say it's part of everyone's cocktail conversation and who's going to be the biggest, who's made the biggest impact on the year. And no doubt this year, in terms of entertainment, in terms of culture, in terms of what she's done in the world, especially in business, it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, you were talking about some of the impact that she's had. She's obviously had a huge impact on local economies with concert ticket sales. There's movie ticket sales. There's NFL viewership. There's craft sales that you mentioned. Just in terms of the influence, speak to us about that, because you know, some of the other, we were talking about 14 presidents and Soviet Union leaders and 3 popes. Taylor Swift hasn't had any of those titles, but she's had an incredible amount of influence.
Look, she's brought so much hope and joy, so needed in the world today. But I also look at her as an incredible business leader and CEO of her own brand. And what she's done to drive the economy is unprecedented. Some stats that I can share with you as we did the interview. She hadn't given an interview in 4 years, and she did one for Time, and she shared a lot. When you look at the stats and the business that she's driven, her concert, $5 billion in revenue. $4 billion in GDP in the US alone, which is why everyone wants her to come to their locations. In LA, in 1 week, she drove $300 million in revenue and garnered 3,000 new jobs, $200 million in hotel sales alone. And yes, her friendship bracelets, craft sales went up 500%. And through her incredible like of the NFL and Travis Kelce, his jersey sales went up 400%. I could keep going, but the impact that she's had is just enormous.
And I think it's also important to note that it's a she on the list. You know, even though this has been around, I think you said for 95 years, so almost a century, there have been other women on the list, but it's been a lot of he's, and this is a she. And so as a woman at the helm of Time, how important do you think that is?
Yeah, so for over 95 years, we have recognized the Person of the Year, and you mentioned that there were so many important choices, those that drove news and made a lot of history this year. No doubt Taylor Swift was our choice, and we're really excited to honor her and celebrate her. Person of the Year started as Man of the Year. And in the year 2000, we changed it to Person of the Year, and we're so excited to have a woman this year, the first artist and entertainer that we've ever had. And we did 3 covers, of which you can use your phone, take the flow code, and you could buy all 3 covers.
Well, and you know, you were talking about the history behind this. It kind of started as a slow news type of thing. It's certainly not a slow news environment anymore, so this has become even bigger, I think even more prestigious. But I'm curious, because you've been now CEO for about a year, has it been almost? So I'm just curious, as you look ahead to 2024, what's next for Time?
Well, we're just here to celebrate this moment. We know that this is going to sell out. Page views on our site have skyrocketed, and everyone who's a Swiftie wants all 3 covers. So we're excited to celebrate this moment and to take this into next year with such enthusiasm for Time and for my team.
All right, so Time got the interview with Taylor Swift, got the photo shoot, very unheard of. What do you think? Third time that you're back here to ring the bell, you'll bring Taylor with you?
Oh, that would be amazing. I feel like she is with us with these incredible covers. And yes, we were so honored to have her story. There's so much great information that she has not shared before. A lot of setbacks, but so much success. And we're just really grateful. And everyone is just so honored at the Time team to have this moment.
Yes, so much success at 33 years old, putting us all to shame. Yes. That's Jessica Sibley, the CEO of Time. Thank you so much, Jessica. Great to see you again.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, and that concludes our show. What an exciting morning here. And it's only been, 13 minutes of training, so we have a full day ahead of us, but lots to celebrate here. We really appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to check our social channels. Be sure, of course, to check out the article in Time with the 3 covers, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.
Together, we built something truly beautiful in the true iconic notion of what America is all about.
This is our task, this is our mission. We have a clear focus and we have the ability to be agile and innovate.
It takes years of dedication to get us to this milestone. It is all because of you.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has.
To be a woman leader, it's not so easy, but it's easy if the passion and the love is coming from your heart.
The New York Stock Exchange is the symbol of what America is all about. Potential of capitalism, the potential of an American dream.
The only way you can move a society forward is a true expression of freedom.